The alarm sounded at 3 in the morning on the colony of Vex 9. The noise was sharp and loud, cutting through the silence of the sleeping settlement. Lights flashed red across every building and every street. The people woke up in fear, not understanding what was happening. The automated voice from the speakers repeated the same message over and over. Everyone had to move to the underground bunkers immediately. This was not a drill. This was real danger. Commander Kevin Hart stood in the control room watching the monitors. He could see the creature on the screens before the cameras went dark. It was a dragon hatchling, only 3 years old, but it was massive and angry. The scales on its body were black like the night sky, and they shined under the light of the explosions. The dragon's eyes were bright red and full of rage. Its wings were spread wide, showing the power hidden inside those limbs. The creature was breathing fire, destroying everything in its path. The defensive walls that were built to protect the colony were falling apart like paper. Kevin pressed his hand on the radio. He ordered all soldiers to evacuate the civilians. They had to get everyone to safety. The soldiers moved fast, running through the streets and pushing people toward the bunker entrances. Children cried. Adults ran. Everyone was scared. The ground shook as the dragon landed harder on the colony, its claws ripping through the metal structures that humans had built. It made sounds like nothing anyone had ever heard before. The roars were loud and painful to listen to. Emma Hayes was 6 years old. She held her mother's hand as they ran down the street. Emma's mother was Lisa. She had black hair and kind eyes, but right now those eyes were full of fear. They ran toward the nearest bunker entrance, pushing through crowds of other people. Emma could see the fire in the sky. She could feel the heat on her face. The dragon was somewhere behind them, destroying buildings and burning the ground. Lisa pulled Emma toward the bunker, but there was a metal wall that had fallen across the path. They had to go around it. Lisa took Emma through a narrow alley between 2 large buildings. Behind them, they could hear the sound of the dragon getting closer. The creature's footsteps made the ground shake with each step. Lisa was moving fast, but she had to hold Emma's hand and make sure the little girl could keep up. Emma's legs were small and tired, but she ran as hard as she could. Then something happened that Lisa did not expect. The dragon broke through the wall of one of the buildings and appeared right in front of them. It was so big that it blocked out the light. The creature saw them and opened its mouth. Lisa screamed. She pushed Emma away from her, trying to protect her daughter. A soldier who was nearby shot a weapon at the dragon, trying to distract it. The dragon turned toward the sound instead of attacking Lisa and Emma. This gave Lisa the chance she needed. She grabbed Emma and pushed her into an old cargo container that was sitting near the edge of the colony. The container was rusty and forgotten, left over from supply shipments that came months ago. Lisa told Emma to hide inside and not to make any noise. She told her daughter that soldiers would come to find them soon. Emma watched as her mother ran back out of the container and away from the creature. Emma wanted to cry and call out for her mother, but she understood. She had to be quiet. She had to stay safe. Inside the cargo container, it was dark and cold. Emma sat in the corner, hugging her knees to her chest. She could still hear the sounds of the dragon outside. The creature was roaring and destroying things. The walls of the container shook sometimes when the dragon moved near the area. Emma was very scared. She was alone and small and the world outside was full of danger. But she stayed quiet, just like her mother told her to do. She thought about her mother and hoped that she was safe now. The dragon was moving through the colony without any sense of direction. It was not hunting the humans for food or for sport. The creature was frightened and lost. It had been separated from its mother during a fight with another young dragon over territory. That fight had been violent and painful. The hatchling had been driven far from its home by the other dragon. It did not know where it was now or how to find its way back to its mother. The human settlement had appeared suddenly, and the scared creature had started attacking, thinking it was under attack itself. The dragon crashed through more buildings, looking for a way out of this strange and terrible place. Its wings were damaged from the fight, so it could not fly away. Its body was bleeding from deep cuts made by the other dragon's claws. Pain shot through its body with every movement. The humans with their weapons had also hurt the creature, though their attacks were small compared to the injuries from the other dragon. After a long time, the sounds outside the container became quieter. The explosion stopped. The roars of the dragon grew fewer and fewer. Emma sat in the darkness, waiting. She did not know that most of the humans had already made it to the underground bunkers. She did not know that the colony's soldiers were now watching the dragon from safe positions. She did not know that her mother was in one of the bunkers below the ground, crying and asking if anyone had seen her daughter. Emma was alone in the dark cargo container, listening to the quiet sounds of the colony being destroyed. The sun would rise soon. When it did, Emma would face something that no one in the colony could have predicted. A small girl and a hurt dragon would meet, and what happened between them would change everything for both the human colony and the dragon species forever. The morning light came slowly to the colony. Emma did not know how long she had been inside the cargo container. It felt like days, but it was probably only a few hours. Her eyes adjusted to the small cracks of light that came through the metal walls. She was hungry and thirsty. Her legs hurt from sitting in the same position for so long. She wanted to cry for her mother, but she was still afraid of making noise. The sounds outside had changed. The roars of the dragon were not as frequent now. Instead, there was a strange quiet that was almost more frightening than the noise had been. Emma stood up slowly. Her legs were stiff and painful. She moved toward the edge of the container and looked out through a small gap in the metal door. The colony looked like it had been destroyed. Buildings were broken and burned. The ground had deep cracks in it from the dragon's claws and footsteps. Smoke was still rising from several places. Emma did not see any people moving around. Everyone must still be in the bunkers below. She felt very alone. Then she heard it. A sound that made her freeze. It was the breathing of the dragon. The creature was somewhere near the container, moving slowly through the ruins of the colony. Emma could hear its feet dragging on the ground, like it was tired and hurt. The dragon was not roaring anymore. Instead, it made soft sounds, almost like crying. Emma pressed her back against the metal wall and held her breath. She did not want the dragon to know she was there. The dragon hatchling passed very close to the container. Emma could see part of its body through the gap. The scales were black and shiny, but they were covered in dirt and blood. One of the dragon's wings was hanging at a strange angle. Its movements were slow and careful. The creature was in pain. The dragon walked past the container without seeing Emma inside. After the dragon moved away, Emma waited for a long time. She waited until the sounds of the creature's footsteps could no longer be heard. Then she pushed the container door open slowly and looked outside. The sun was getting higher in the sky. Emma could see the destruction more clearly now. She could see where the dragon had crashed through buildings. She could see fire and broken metal everywhere. Emma stepped out of the container. Her small feet touched the cold ground of the colony. She was scared, but she knew she could not stay inside the container forever. She had to find her mother. She had to find other people. She started walking through the ruined streets, moving quietly and carefully. She did not want to make sounds that would bring the dragon back. As she walked, Emma heard the dragon again. This time it sounded different. The roar was not angry or violent. It was sad and confused. The sound made Emma feel something strange inside. She realized that the dragon was not trying to hurt people because it was mean. The dragon was scared and hurt, just like Emma was scared and hurt. The creature did not know where it was. It did not know how to get home. The dragon was alone, just like Emma was alone. Emma found herself moving toward the sound instead of away from it. She did not think about this choice. Her feet just carried her toward the dragon. She walked around a broken building and found herself in an open area of the colony. There, in the middle of the street, was the dragon hatchling. The creature was standing still, its head hanging down. Blood dripped from several wounds on its body. One wing was definitely broken. The dragon's sides moved up and down with hard breathing. It was exhausted and in terrible pain. The dragon heard Emma's footsteps. Its head came up quickly. The red eyes looked down at the small human girl. Emma was standing alone in the middle of the empty street. She had nowhere to hide. She had nowhere to run. For a moment, nothing moved. The dragon and the girl looked at each other across the distance of a few body lengths. The dragon prepared to attack. It opened its mouth. Its muscles tightened. It started to move toward Emma. The little girl should have been running. She should have been screaming for help. But Emma did something that was completely different. She sat down slowly right there in the middle of the street. She sat down on the hard ground and closed her eyes. Then she began to hum. The melody was soft and gentle. It was a lullaby that her mother used to sing to her at night before sleep. Emma's voice was small and quiet, but it carried through the ruined streets of the colony. The song was simple and beautiful. It was the sound of safety and love and home. Emma kept her eyes closed and kept humming, even though the dragon was getting closer. The dragon hatchling stopped. It did not understand what was happening. It had never heard a sound like this before. The melody was nothing like the harsh sounds of humans with weapons. It was nothing like the angry roars of other dragons. This sound was different. This sound made something inside the dragon's mind feel calm. The creature's racing heartbeat began to slow down. Its breathing became less hard and painful. Emma finished the lullaby and started singing it again from the beginning. She kept her eyes closed. She did not move. She just sat there and sang the gentle song. The dragon walked closer and closer. It could have attacked Emma at any moment. It could have hurt her very badly. But instead, the dragon lay down on the ground next to the small girl. The creature was so tired and hurt that it could not stand anymore. The dragon's head was bigger than Emma's entire body. One of the creature's eyes was very close to where Emma was sitting. Emma opened her eyes and looked into that giant red eye. For just a moment, she could see that the dragon was not a monster. It was a young creature that was scared and hurt and alone. Just like her. Emma reached out her small hand and touched the dragon's face. The scales were warm and smooth. The dragon did not move. It just lay there, its breathing becoming slower and calmer with each note of the lullaby. Emma kept singing, and the dragon kept listening. The two creatures, one small and one large, one human and one dragon, sat together in the middle of the ruined colony as the morning light grew stronger around them. Emma stopped singing when the sun reached the middle of the sky. The dragon hatchling was still lying on the ground next to her, its eyes half closed and peaceful. The creature was sleeping. Emma could see the dragon's sides moving up and down with each breath. The pain in the creature's body seemed less now. The gentle song had done something to calm the young dragon in a way that nothing else could. Emma's throat was very dry. She needed water. The dragon probably needed water too. She thought about where she could find some. The water fountain near the central plaza was not far away. Emma remembered seeing fountains with clean water all around the colony. She stood up very slowly, trying not to wake the dragon. The creature did not move. It was in a deep sleep now, the kind of sleep that only comes when pain goes away and fear stops. Emma walked carefully toward the central plaza. Her small legs carried her through the broken streets. She passed buildings that had been destroyed by fire. She passed metal pieces that had fallen from the sky. The colony looked like a place from a dream that was bad and scary. She kept walking until she saw the fountain. It was still there, still working. Clean water was flowing from it, just like it always did. Emma approached the fountain. She cupped her hands under the water and drank. The water was cold and good. It made her feel better. She drank several times, until her thirst was gone. Then she thought about the dragon. The creature needed water too. Emma looked around and found a metal plate that had fallen from one of the buildings. It was flat and wide enough to hold water. She filled the plate with water from the fountain and carefully carried it back toward where the dragon was sleeping. The dragon was still in the same place. Emma set the plate of water down in front of the creature's mouth. She sat down beside the dragon again and waited. After a few minutes, the dragon opened its eyes. It looked at Emma and then at the water. The creature understood. It lowered its head and began to drink. The water splashed around its mouth as the dragon drank. Emma watched, feeling happy that she could help the creature. When the dragon finished drinking, it looked at Emma again. This time, the red eyes were softer and kinder. The anger and fear were gone. Emma could see intelligence in those eyes. She could see that the dragon was not just an animal. It was a thinking creature that could understand what was happening. The dragon made a soft sound, almost like a purr. Emma reached out and touched the dragon's face again. Emma could see the wounds on the dragon's body clearly now. There were deep cuts on its sides where the other dragon had clawed it during the fight. One wing was bent in a wrong way, definitely broken. There was blood dried on the creature's scales. Emma knew the dragon was in pain, even though it was trying to hide it. She had to help the creature. She had to make the wounds better. Emma remembered that there was an emergency medical kit in a small building near the center of the colony. She had seen it once when she was walking with her mother. The building was not destroyed by the dragon's attack. Emma told the dragon to wait there. She made a soft sound with her voice to calm the creature, then she stood up and walked away. The medical building was small and made of white metal. Emma pushed the door open. Inside, everything was neat and organized. She found the emergency kit on the wall. It was a large box with a red cross on it. Emma opened the box and took out what she could see. There were bandages and clean cloth. There were bottles of liquid that smelled strong. There were tools that looked like they could help. Emma gathered everything she could carry and walked back to the dragon. The dragon was waiting for her. The creature watched as Emma approached with the medical supplies. Emma opened the bottles and poured the liquid on the cloth. It smelled bad, but she knew it would help clean the wounds. She started with the smallest cut first, on the dragon's leg. The creature flinched when Emma touched the wound, but it did not move away. It let her work. Emma worked carefully and slowly. She cleaned each wound with the cloth soaked in the medical liquid. She used the bandages to wrap around the biggest cuts. The dragon stayed still and let her do her work. It was like the creature understood that Emma was trying to help. Sometimes Emma would talk softly to the dragon while she worked. She would say things like, "You are going to be okay and I am here with you." The dragon would listen to her voice and become calm. The broken wing was more difficult. Emma did not know exactly how to fix it, but she remembered seeing a doctor once wrapping an injured arm in cloth to keep it still. She took long pieces of cloth and carefully wrapped them around the dragon's wing, keeping it close to the creature's body. The dragon made soft sounds, but it did not pull away. It trusted Emma. By the time Emma finished, the sun was beginning to go down in the sky. She had been working on the dragon's wounds for a long time. Her small hands were tired. Her back hurt from bending over so much. But the dragon looked better. The wounds were cleaned and wrapped. The dragon's breathing was easier now. The pain seemed less strong. Emma sat down next to the dragon's head and leaned against the creature's warm body. The dragon made a low rumbling sound that seemed to come from deep inside. It was a sound that Emma had never heard before, but she knew it meant the dragon was happy and grateful. The creature put one of its front legs gently around Emma, not holding her tight, just resting there. Emma looked up at the sky. The stars were coming out now. She did not know where her mother was. She did not know if the soldiers were coming to find her. But she knew that she was not alone. She had the dragon, and the dragon had her. They had found each other in the worst place and time, and somehow, they had made each other feel better. Emma closed her eyes and rested against the warm scales of the young dragon, listening to the peaceful sounds of its breathing. The night was long and cold. Emma fell asleep against the dragon's warm body, but she woke up several times. Each time she woke, she checked on the dragon to make sure it was still breathing normally. The creature slept deeply, recovering from its wounds and its fear. Emma would run her small hand across the dragon's scales and feel the gentle rise and fall of its body. She would hear the soft sounds it made while sleeping, sounds like quiet growls mixed with purring. Emma would go back to sleep, feeling safe even though she was outside in the broken colony. When the sun came up, Emma was awake and ready. She went back to the water fountain and filled more plates with fresh water for the dragon. The creature drank a lot. Emma also found food in one of the buildings that was not completely destroyed. She found dried meat that humans kept in storage. She did not know if dragons could eat the same food as humans, but she tried giving some to the dragon anyway. The hatchling sniffed it and then ate it. Emma felt proud that she could feed the creature. Throughout the morning, Emma sat with the dragon and talked to it. She told it about her mother. She told it about the colony and what it had been like before the attack. She told it stories about her life. The dragon listened. Even though the creature could not speak human words, it seemed to understand. The dragon would move its head toward Emma when she talked. It would blink slowly, which Emma learned meant the dragon was happy and calm. By the middle of the day, Emma noticed something changing in the air. The dragon noticed it too. The creature's head came up. Its nostrils flared. It was smelling something from very far away. The dragon made a low sound in its throat, a sound that was different from all the other sounds it had made. It was a calling sound, like the dragon was trying to reach out to someone or something far away. Emma could feel the vibration of the sound through the dragon's body. The dragon stood up slowly. It was still weak from its wounds, but it stood anyway. The creature looked out toward the horizon, past the broken colony and toward the wild lands beyond. Emma stood up too. She did not know what the dragon was sensing, but she could feel that something was coming. Something was moving toward them. The ground began to shake. Not like the shaking from before when the young dragon had been rampaging through the colony. This shaking was different. It was steady and rhythmic, like the footsteps of something very large and very heavy. The shaking got stronger and stronger. Buildings that were still standing began to fall. The ground opened up with small cracks. Then Emma saw her. She was so big that Emma's mind could not understand the size at first. The dragon mother was 3 times bigger than the young hatchling that Emma had been caring for. Her scales were dark green and black, shining like jewels in the sunlight. Her wings were enormous, each one as tall as a building. Her eyes were bright yellow and full of intelligence and power. The mother dragon landed on the edge of the colony, and the impact shook everything. Dust and broken pieces flew into the air. The young dragon made sounds that were excited and happy. It tried to run toward its mother, but it was still too weak. The wounds Emma had bandaged were healing, but the creature could not run properly yet. It limped forward, calling out to the mother dragon. Emma felt afraid. She knew that the mother dragon could destroy her with one movement. She knew that the mother dragon might see her as an enemy. But Emma did not run away. She could not leave the young dragon alone. So she followed the hatchling, walking slowly toward the enormous mother dragon. The mother dragon saw Emma. She saw the small human girl following her baby. The massive creature's head came down low, and she looked at Emma directly. Those bright yellow eyes seemed to see everything about Emma, every thought and feeling. Emma thought about running, but instead she stood still. She looked back into those eyes. She showed the mother dragon that she was not afraid. The mother dragon saw the bandages on her baby's body. She saw the carefully wrapped wing. She saw that her hatchling was calm and peaceful, not angry and scared like it had been before. The mother dragon smelled Emma and understood what had happened. She understood that this small human girl had not hurt her baby. This human had helped it. This human had given it water and food. This human had taken care of its wounds with gentle hands. The young dragon reached its mother and made sounds of joy and sadness mixed together. The mother dragon lowered her entire body to the ground and wrapped one of her massive front legs around her baby. Tears came from her yellow eyes. She had thought her baby was lost to her forever. She had thought the other dragon had killed her young one. But here was her baby, alive and with wounds that were being healed by someone. The mother dragon looked at Emma again. This time, Emma walked closer. She was very small compared to the mother dragon, like a tiny toy compared to a mountain. But Emma walked closer anyway. She reached up as high as she could and touched the mother dragon's leg. The scales were warm and hard and beautiful. Emma made soft sounds with her voice, the same kind of sound she made with the young dragon. The mother dragon made a sound back. It was a deep rumble that Emma could feel in her body. The sound was not angry or violent. It was grateful. It was thankful. The mother dragon made more sounds, complex and beautiful, like she was speaking a language that Emma could not understand but could feel. Other humans were watching from the bunkers. Commander Kevin Hart was looking at the cameras that still worked. He could see a small human girl standing between 2 dragons. He could see the mother dragon making communication sounds. He could see the young dragon resting peacefully. Kevin Hart understood that something impossible was happening. Something that no one had ever thought could happen. A 6-year-old human girl was bringing peace between humans and dragons. Emma stood there between the two creatures, feeling the warmth of both their bodies around her. She was not afraid anymore. She knew that everything was going to be different now. Everything was going to change for the colony and for the dragons. All because one small girl had the courage to show kindness to a hurt creature that everyone else was afraid of. The mother dragon made more sounds. These were sounds that came from deep inside her body, powerful and clear. She was not speaking to Emma or to the young dragon. She was speaking to something far away. She was speaking to her kind, to other dragons that lived in the wild lands beyond the colony. The sounds carried on the wind for miles and miles. Other dragons heard the mother dragon's voice, and they understood what she was saying. She was saying that the humans were not enemies. She was saying that the humans had shown kindness to her baby. She was saying that peace was possible. Commander Kevin Hart made a decision. He ordered the soldiers in the bunkers to stop all weapons fire. He told them to hold their positions and watch. He was taking a chance. He was trusting that what was happening was real. He was trusting that a 6-year-old girl had done something that no military strategy or weapons system could do. She had changed everything. Emma walked back to the young dragon and sat down. The dragon put its head down next to her. The mother dragon made a soft sound and lay down too, creating a shelter around the two small creatures with her massive body. Emma felt safe and loved. She felt like her mother was there, even though her mother was still in the bunker below the ground. The dragon's warmth was like a blanket around her. Emma closed her eyes and rested. Hours passed. The sun moved across the sky. Commander Hart sent scouts to watch from a safe distance. The scouts reported that the mother dragon was not moving. She was not attacking. She was simply lying there with the young dragon and the human girl. The reports came back every hour. Still peaceful. Still calm. Still no movement toward the colony. As the sun began to set, Emma heard sounds from below the ground. A bunker door was opening. Soldiers were coming out carefully, their weapons still ready but held at their sides. They moved slowly toward Emma and the dragons. Emma opened her eyes and looked at them. She knew these soldiers. They had seen her in the colony before the attack. She recognized their faces. The mother dragon's eyes opened. She saw the soldiers approaching. Her muscles tightened. She could attack them if she wanted to. She could destroy them all. But she did not move. She waited. She was watching to see what would happen. Emma reached up and touched the young dragon's face. She made soft sounds with her voice. The young dragon made sounds back, sounds of trust and peace. The mother dragon saw this and understood. Commander Kevin Hart himself walked out of the bunker. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had fought in many battles. He had made many hard decisions. But he had never done anything as brave as walking toward a mother dragon with his hands empty and his weapons left behind. He walked slowly and carefully. He stopped when he was close to Emma. Emma looked up at him. She smiled. Her eyes were bright and full of happiness. She had thought she would never see another human being again. She had thought she was alone forever. But now humans were coming toward her, and they were not attacking the dragons. They were coming peacefully. Commander Hart looked at the mother dragon. He looked at the young dragon. He looked at Emma. The little girl who was supposed to be safe in a bunker. The little girl who had been lost and separated from her mother. The little girl who had done the impossible. Hart fell to one knee beside Emma. He reached out slowly and touched the young dragon's face, just like Emma was doing. The creature did not pull away. It let the human commander touch it. Hart closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, tears were coming down his face. He looked at Emma and spoke softly. He told her that she was brave. He told her that she was a hero. He told her that she had saved the colony and started something new and wonderful. Emma listened, and then she asked about her mother. Hart smiled and told her that her mother was safe in the bunker. He said that Lisa Hayes was waiting to see her daughter again. More soldiers came out of the bunker. They brought supplies. They brought water and food. They brought medical supplies and blankets. The mother dragon watched all of this. She saw that the humans were not aggressive. She saw that they were trying to help. The massive creature made a sound, and more dragons appeared on the horizon. They landed near the colony, but they did not attack. They waited, watching the mother dragon to see what she would do. The mother dragon made more communication sounds. She told the other dragons what had happened. She told them about the small human who had helped her baby. She told them that humans could be kind and trustworthy. The other dragons listened and understood. Dragons are intelligent creatures, more intelligent than humans had ever realized. They could understand complex ideas and feelings. They could make choices based on reason, not just on instinct. A few hours later, Lisa Hayes came out of the bunker. She had been told that her daughter was safe. She had been told that Emma was with the dragons. She did not believe it at first. But she came out anyway, driven by the desperate need to see her child again. When she saw Emma sitting with the dragon hatchling, alive and smiling, she ran forward. She fell down and wrapped her arms around her daughter. She held Emma so tight that Emma could barely breathe. Lisa cried and cried, tears of joy and relief and gratitude. The mother dragon made a soft sound. The sound was not threatening. It was gentle and kind. Lisa looked up at the massive creature. She understood somehow that the dragon had protected her daughter. That the dragon had cared for Emma just like a mother would care for her own baby. Lisa reached up her hand, and the mother dragon lowered her head. Lisa touched the dragon's face, just like her daughter had done. The human mother and the dragon mother looked at each other, and they understood each other completely. Over the next few weeks, everything changed for the colony. Diplomats came from other human settlements. Scientists came to study the dragons. The dragons shared knowledge about the planet and about themselves. Humans shared their knowledge too. A peace treaty was signed between the human colony and the dragon species. The dragons offered to help humans with many things. The humans offered to help the dragons. It was the beginning of a new era of cooperation and friendship. Emma Hayes became famous throughout all the human settlements. People told stories about the 6-year-old girl who had tamed a dragon with a lullaby. Children learned about Emma in their schools. She became a symbol of what was possible when humans showed kindness and courage, even in the face of terrible danger. The young dragon hatchling lived in the colony with Emma. They grew up together. The hatchling grew into a young adult dragon, but it never forgot the small human girl who had saved its life. Emma often sat on the dragon's back and rode through the skies of Vex 9. Below them, humans and dragons worked together, building something new and beautiful. Emma looked down at the colony and thought about that first night when she was alone and scared in a cargo container. She thought about how one act of kindness had changed everything. And she knew that anything was possible when you had the courage to show compassion to those who were different from you.